What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today I want to talk about all the violence that's been going on in the California Department of Corrections and my opinion on what should be done. I know that again, the Prison Guard channel, he has a lot of the stuff that's going on, a lot of current stuff that happens. He's on it immediately. He's got his plugs still in the department, and we have a different I think we have different ideas, and of course, because he's looking at things from the law enforcement side. I think he's looking at it from, protecting his co-workers. And I look at it from the convict side. I look at it from the side of someone who had a life sentence. And maybe he and I could do a video, my channel, his channel, doesn't matter to me. And we discuss different things. But the question is this. We know that California has initiated the Norway project, they're calling it, and they're trying to be more rehabilitative instead of just punitive in the way that they house people and incarcerate people. Because of all the death and all the violence that's going on in the California Department of Corrections, there are people who are questioning that. I had a comment in my comment section the other day, and a person said, well, they let all the shot callers out. What did you think was going to happen? And, that's funny to me, because no disrespect to that individual, if you're seeing this video, no matter where the shot callers are, whether they're in a cell 10,000 miles away or if they're in a cell 2 minutes away, their voice is heard. Their desires are fulfilled. Their demands are put in place. So that right there doesn't mean anything. Okay. There are some things going on though, and I'm going to give my opinion. The fact that there's no shoe, what happens is you may have an individual who is a sociopath and has no qualms about taking lives. Most guys in there don't. But their thing is, if it's in the heat of battle, if it's necessary for whatever reason, they'll do it. But you have a unique breed of people, very, very small number of people, very small percentage of people who are willing to kill for the thrill of it. Just like out here in society. There are certain individuals that become serial killers. That's not something that's a huge problem in society, but there's certain people that have that gene, and they say there is a gene for this stuff, right? And so if you have a place, you have prison, and we have people who may have that gene and who have no qualms with killing and will do it for the slightest infractions, and they don't have the shoe to go sit down in, then of course you're going to see more violence. See, before somebody could get a shoe term, and the cops will know, like, hey, they don't want that guy out. And so what do? I'm going to tell you the truth. They're going to do whatever they have to do during his shoe term. Say he's got a 4-year shoe term. He's not leaving Pelican Bay. They will label him. They will get somebody to put something on him. They will get dudes to lie on him and say he's this, that, and the other. And he will get validated as an associate or a member of an organization. And that guy will no longer be allowed to go to the main line and take lives. That reduces violence. You don't have that now. You have where guys I guess, go to a lockdown unit briefly, and then they go back out to the yard. Now they have this reputation. See, I remember when I went to the California Youth Authority, your first year, you're building your reputation. However many years you're there after that, you're living up to what you built. So you have guys coming in wanting to build their reputation, and then they got to live up to it. That's the expectation. You know why? Because as soon as they don't act the way they did act, they might get removed. They might get whacked. Something happened to that guy. He got soft. I don't trust him no more. It's a double-edged sword. Now, the question, should the California Department of Corrections get rid of the Norway Project and start going back to their old ways? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've told a story about an OG from Dakota, a homie that I met. He had started doing time in the 70s. This dude was well respected. He had a lot of juice. And I spent a lot of time around him. And I've told the story how I remember one day we're on B facility. We're on B yard, New Folsom. And he was sitting down by the handball court. And I went over there to kick it with him. And he, out of nowhere, we're talking, and out of nowhere he says, you know what, Holmes? It don't take a man to survive prison, eh? You don't got to be a man to be in prison no more. Me, a youngster, a knucklehead, looking to this dude who I know has taken lives behind the wall. I'm like, what? And he said, you know, in prison nowadays, they got a place for you, Holmes. He said, if you're a killer, they got a place for you. If you're a gangster, they got a place for you. If you're a punk, you're a rat, they got a place for you. He said, back in the days, everybody was in the same spot. Nowadays, vatos have their own spots. So you don't have to be a man. And he told me, you know where the real men are? And I'm thinking, I'm a youngster, I'm thinking to say Pelican Bay, the shoe, whatever. And I said, where? He said, they're on the streets, homie. He said, they're taking care of their family, they're taking care of business, Holmes. He said, there's something about us, there's something in us, Holmes, where we can kill a motherfucker with no problem, but we can't take care of any responsibilities on the streets. And I was blown away. And obviously, that was in 95, Holmes. That's 30 years ago. That conversation never left my mind. And so when it comes to this, should the California Department of Corrections do away with the Norway Project? I go back to that older homie. CDC, make a place for everybody. I am proof. Change Man for Life, he's proof. Free World Robert, he's proof. There are thousands and thousands of ex-lifers, long-term offenders who have re-entered society and are productive members of society. We are proof that change is possible. So, there are thousands more behind the walls that want to go to college, that want to go to self-help, that want to learn why they were able to justify murder and mayhem, robbing, cheating, stealing, killing, so that they don't do that anymore. And then there's guys on the yard that want to be killers, that want to be gangsters. Separate them. It's not hard to find out. The cops in the building, they know who's who. As far as who's just doing what they got to do and who's doing what they want to do. The counselors know too. You know, and in this process, if the CDC does that, will it become safer? Well, my honest opinion, initially, it'll get more dangerous. But it only gets dangerous for those that want to be dangerous. The yards with the guys that want to program, you will see such a reduction in violence that some COs, them knucklehead COs, will be embarrassed to work there. But why would you be embarrassed? You get to go to work, get all that easy money, and then go home safely. If it's too much to you to work on a yard with guys that are really trying to better themselves, then you put in a transfer and you go over to them killer yards and you hope every day that you make it home. You add all that stress into your life. And then you think, damn, I made good money, but it ain't worth it. But that's my opinion. Make a place for everybody. Now, obviously, the CDC can't say that's what they're doing. They can't say it's a policy. They can't form an underground policy and enact it and implement it. Then don't say nothing. Just do it. I'm sure even then you'll have some of these guys that want to be killers and gangsters that'll say, wait a minute. I kind of like it over here where I can get some pizza once a month. Or I can get some rally burgers once a month. I can get my family visits every 90 days. I can go to the visiting room and hang out. It would change the minds of people. See, when I entered the CDC, when I entered the California Department of Corrections in 1994, nobody was going home. Your vocation, the vocation they offered you was hanging out on the yard and being a gangster. To some people, it's back to that. They are afraid to change and not be the guy that they created when they first came in the system. The guy that would kill for nothing. It doesn't mean they're SNY or they're dropping out or nothing. It means if they got action, they're trying to take advantage of that. Nobody but that small percentage of wackos wants to be in prison. I'm talking about, I'm talking about even legends that I have spoken to, I have seen, I've been around, I have seen and heard them tell youngsters, hey, homie, why don't you go to the law library and fight your case? Homie, you like fucking being in here? Because I don't. So for all these vatos that never been around those people, for all these guys that have never been around legends and hear them tell youngsters, encourage them to try to beat their case, and if you lose your case and you want to be a killer, there's some work for you. You guys don't understand, homes. Even they would like to go home. I'm not saying if somebody's a validated member, that automatically kicks them out of being on a program yard. I'm saying for the staff and for the counselors to identify who wants to do right, who wants to program, and put them in a spot where they can program. Stop trying to integrate the SNYs with the actives and create that type of drama where you're gonna have bodies. I think it's pretty simple. I think that's a recipe for success. The guys that want to kill each other will eliminate themselves. They will reduce the population and definitely get rid of people that are killers because only one's going to win. Now and then they both survive. But don't do away with trying to rehabilitate people. Help these people. Give them those opportunities. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a former lifer. I'm just somebody who re-entered society almost 8 years ago and is trying to help other people to avoid walking the same path that I did. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.